Norfolk farmer Owen Smith will have 30 minutes to familiarise himself with this New Holland machine. After that, he will give us his honest thoughts. If you think that 30 minutes isn't enough to get a full feel for a machine, watch the end of the video and feel free to leave us a comment. Owen will reply personally. So Owen, you've had half an hour with another telehandler. What are your thoughts?
Well, she ain't no Merlot. Yeah. You don't see many New Holland telehandlers about. And having driven it, I can possibly see why. It's a power shift gearbox, and I'll hold my hand up and say, before I came and drove this, I was biased against power shift teleporters, having had a Manitou, which was quite frankly god awful. And this one, in terms of how it shifts through the gears, if it was a tractor, you'd say it's a perfectly acceptable power shift. It is what it is. It's nothing special. It is perfectly acceptable power. But the way it works in here, the auto function is lazy, and it's constantly trying to, the little bit I've driven of it, it just feels like it's constantly trying to pick which gear it wants to be in. Where you want to be is sort of, if you, like you say, driving around the yard, that's stuck between 2 and 3, and it can't make its mind up which gear it wants to go into in auto. In manual, it's fine. It doesn't, for a, did you say it was 4.5 ton machine?
A 4.2 ton machine, 7 metre reach.
4.27 metre. It doesn't, if we stick this up against a Merlot, which you constantly felt you had bags of power, bags of push, whereas this, it just feels a bit big and a bit heavy and not a lot of grunt.
For context of the comparison, the Merlot was a 3.5 ton machine at 140 horsepower, and this is 165 horsepower at 4.2 ton.
And you can't, when you're sat in the cab, you can't feel any of that. You really can't feel it's got that kind of power. It'll do the job. It'll climb. It'll again, just pushed up some wood chip here, and it'll do it. Does it do it as nicely as the Merlot did? No, it doesn't. I was driving our sort of works JCB TM310 this morning, moving stone. Is this as good as that? No. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's got redeeming features. There are things on it, but I'll say, yeah, fair play. That is better than the Merlot. After we did the last video, I can't help sat there thinking, with Merlot, it had this massive great dashboard in front of here, with all the various lots of switches and all that kind of stuff, which is fine. But I wish I had it sat back in it, because I'm not sure if you had a set of pallet forks on the floor, whether you could have actually seen them. Whereas this, the visibility looking forwards, was really good. You got loads of view over your headstock. No problems there. That's quite good. Yeah, that bit's quite nice. The armrest is really nice. The position is really nice, although it has got the classic New Holland tendency if we adjust forwards and backwards, but under no circumstances do we go up and down. So that's quite good. It's incredibly simple. So if you don't want to pay for a load of fancy gadgets, then you haven't got any on one of these. I mean, you've got plenty of glass. The mirrors are quite good. The mirror over the pickup hitch isn't adjusted properly, but that's an adjustment thing.
On the mirrors though, from when I've been driving this, I do quite like that rear, and they called it the boom
Yeah.
mirror. For that as an idea, I quite like, because then you're seeing both ends of the machine while reversing. And that for me strikes me as a very simple idea, but I actually quite liked having that little mirror.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think... Yeah. I just wonder how much attention you'd pay to it as you go along, but it's not a bad idea. It's sort of nice to have, and one day it might come in handy, so that's always good. And then we get on to the joystick itself, which is
very similar to the Kramer's.
Yeah, basic joystick shape, JCB Kramer. It's all much of a muchness. Merlot, similar kind of style. When it sits in your hand, it's nice. Feels rather nice. And you've got your plus and minus up the gears, and you've got your forward and reverse down here, and the auxiliaries, and your boom in and out.
It's all on your thumb, which is actually quite nice, because you're not reaching around the back for different bits and pieces, are you?
Well, now, if I'm going into a heap, and I'm booming out with my thumb, and I might want to, I don't know, try and go to forward and reverse. Now in a JCB or in a Merlot or lots of other stuff, I've got a little trigger on the back here, so I can just trigger back, forward, reverse, no problem. On this, I've almost got to stop doing what I was doing, change gear, change direction. I mean, to be fair, I'm being lazy, I could do it up here, admittedly, but you've got your hand on the steering wheel and you're doing various bits and pieces, your foot on the brake, trying to rev it as hard as you can, because there's no auto revving on this machine that I can see. So you've got your foot banged down into the floor, because that's the only way you can get it to do too much. Because so although it's all very nicely laid out, it doesn't feel like this has been designed by someone who's driven teleporters a lot, because
there's not much multitasking going on, is there?
No, you're very much one button at a time, and you don't. So it's very clear, it's very simple. If you're a first time operator, you jump in this and you would immediately know what buttons do what. Yeah, so joystick, you got nice and clear, all the buttons, really good. But I don't feel when I'm driving it that you sort of try and do all things at once.
As all farmers do.
Trying to then put it in forward and reverse or neutral or change gear when you're sat here and say if you're loading your grain lorry, you're doing your you whip up to the side of your lorry, booming back, I want to do some bits of this. You've then got to take your thumb off that and put it in neutral if you want to, or you've got to change forward and reverse.
It's a little extra step, isn't it?
Exactly.
It just makes it a bit clunky.
And you've got to then compare this to the competition. So why would you buy a New Holland over anything else? Well, all the competition have got a simple trigger on the back to do forward reverse. Why haven't New Holland done that? Because that's not what they've done. Isn't better. If anything, it's a step backwards. So but there we go. Some people might like it, but I personally do not. I find the joystick itself, although really quite nice, it sits in your hand really quite nicely, is incredibly numb compared to a lot of people. You've really got to move that car about to try and make it do anything on the hydraulics. And I don't know whether that's adjustable, but it certainly feels incredibly heavy for a telehandler compared to, if we go back to the Merlot, I felt the hydraulics were a bit oversensitive. It was a bit keen, it was pumping up. This is massively under. It really is very dead compared to, for a telehandler of this size. It's just, yeah, which is a bit disappointing really, because you'd have thought big machine, she'll get on alright, but no, I mean it has got a button on the back here to sort of done for transmission, but it's not. It took me a little while to find it, and it's And
I will admit I forgot to mention it.
So yeah,
it has got an automatic feature where it clutches if you hold your foot on the brake, and that's the mode I've been driving in.
Yeah.
But obviously you'd like to drive it differently.
So yeah, so it's a bit of a I don't know. It's a bit not so sure about that. Overall, cabin's cabin in it. Nice little, it's a plasticky toolbox. Love a plasticky toolbox on New Holland.
That is one of 3 on this machine. Would you like to play Hunt Them?
Oh, headstock, pretty much just really. Bit of the JCB Z-Link.
But if you noticed, you said with the Merlot,
Yeah.
you didn't get a very good range of tilt. You could have done with that last little flick down.
Yeah.
This, I would say, is pretty much the same angle, so I wonder if machines are sort of going away from that or not, or if it's just 2 machines that are both doing it
Maybe.
the same way.
Maybe. But yeah, it does. It is what it is. It looks fairly maintenance friendly. It's not really a whole lot to it, really. I'd say I don't know if you see it, but bear in mind we're dealing with a 4.5 ton machine on here. These axles look incredibly weedy.
Just put your hand next to it for comparison.
So that's my hand. My hands aren't very big, and it's just, it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of strength there. It's just, it seems all a bit, and you got stick rods, it's all just a bit, yeah, just feels a bit flimsy. It probably isn't, but it just feels like it. I mean, you've got stuff like this, that's strong, but yeah, axle wise it doesn't look that great. Love a bit of plastic there. Love a bit of plastic.
Yeah, I hope in the comments you're playing Hunt the Toolbox.
Mirrors, I'll give them that. Mirrors are better on this than they were on the Merlot. They are quite good, and that is a pretty damn sturdy mirror bracket. So you're not going to belt that off anytime soon. Light down the sides, a nice touch. It's quite amazing how handy that actually is. Yeah, it's very big. Physically it's very big, but then it is physically a bigger machine, so that's not entirely surprising. Yeah, mud guards are all in line. Mirrors, interestingly, are not in line, so if you're going to go down the side of the shed, you are going to belt your mirrors.
Yeah.
So, again, if you get used to it, you'll probably be alright, but that isn't that great. Yeah, it's all just, some of it feels fairly sturdy.
They're currently experimenting with a taller pickup hitch with the UK market, because obviously rest of the world they don't have pickup hitches. So this one is capable of burying itself in the floor to pick up your trailers that have sunk. But the drawback with that is, because this is obviously, I guess you could call it a bit prototypey, trying to get the taller hitch in, that panel behind there, guess what you need that removed for? Topping up your hydraulic oil.
No.
Yes.
Oh god.
Apparently they're in development to put a pipe out the side, but at the same time it does beg the question, why was it behind a panel to start with?
Oh, yes, this panel, the screws aren't actually done up.
Aren't they? Oh, lovely.
Right.
Yeah.
ABS.
Yes, it has got ABS.
Okay, that's quite smart. I've never seen one with ABS. I've got got diesel and blue. It's not. That's pretty. Yeah, it's pretty easy to get at. Toolbox numero tray. Yeah. I could be getting wrong, but I just feel that looking at that pickup hitch, Merlot one just seemed a lot stronger. I don't know what gives me a vibe about that being flimsy, but something, I'm not so sure about that one. I don't know why, can't put my finger on it, it just, yeah, it doesn't feel that strong. Well, it ought to be.
Would you like to know what this is rated to tow compared to the Merlot? The Merlot is rated to tow on UK roads 20 tonnes. This particular machine is rated to tow 10.
That would be why. Yeah.
I'm going to cut this bit, but it does feel like everything that you point out, I have to say, I know about this, and this is why it's shit.
Yeah. So, yeah, we better have a look at the engine bay.
Would you like the magic key?
I'd like the magic key.
Because I haven't shown you the bonnet at all.
No, apparently this is a special treat, but I have to see for the first time on camera under it. Bloody hell.
And if you look behind the panels, there's a couple of screw nuts. Just to undo them, there's one.
Okay.
You're not going to undo this in a hurry. And yours should be down the front there.
This one?
No, the one lower, I think. Oh, it's not done up.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, one nice thing about this is it does, if you shut the bonnet on these panels, the panels stay shut because of the bonnet.
Yeah. That's an engine now, isn't it? Would you say it's the engine out of a T6?
This is the exact same engine out of T6. This is doing 165 horsepower and the same hydraulic pack that is on the T6.
Something big enough, isn't it?
Hmm.
Yeah, she's not messing about.
So this is in line as well as the Merlot. The Merlot earned the patent to that. So I have actually been told New Holland have paid the patent so that they could get a better use of space. How would you rate the layout though?
Bad. I've seen worse. It's all fairly straightforward, really. All your filters are where you can get at them. I don't think you'd shed a tear over a fan belt replacement. Alternator belts, you've got some nice chunky battery terminals if you want to plug anything extra onto it. Batteries, easy to get at. Yeah, I can't fault it. I do think having a key to get in the bonnet is stupid, but I should imagine that's something to do with mother regulations. Yeah.
I think you'll like this. The reverser fan can be set to always on, which means that after 6 minutes
Yeah.
it will fire off for 20 seconds,
Okay.
and after another 6 minutes it repeats.
That's quite good. Does it, regardless of engine reps?
I believe so.
Okay, well that's quite nice. And it's a massive great coolant pack. You're not gonna. Yeah. So it doesn't obviously have that screen that the Merlot did, but meshing that's fairly good. Yeah, now you say it does very much like someone's taken the engine out of a tractor and gone, right, in we go. And it's, yeah, okay, but it's a New Holland engine. They are, yeah, it's good, reliable. You know what you're going to get. You don't, I don't know. So I've worked with New Hollands on and off for 10 years, and I've not had one do an engine yet. So.
Don't mention the Germans.
Yeah. Well, yeah. German manufacturers were less said about the engines were better, but New Holland's absolutely fine. The only thing I'd say is you better hope there aren't any hydraulic pipes, because they do like to sweat power, as they say. But yeah, that's not a bad engine bay. I don't think it's all quite easy to get at.
You can take this, you can unscrew these, and then that folds forward, and then you've got every single rad you can get out the back of to blow out.
I was expecting some horror show. But no.
Well, that's quite positive. Oh, one last thing. Do you want to know what this pipe is for?
Okay.
This is a special bung on the end here. So you'll take it to this sump. As you screw it onto the sump, it opens the sump, so you can put it straight into a bucket with that pipe.
I'll give them that. 10 out of 10 for that idea, because the amount of machines we've had with that idea on it, but don't give you that pipe. So what you do instead is you jam a screwdriver in it to hold it open, or you just unscrew the whole thing. But yeah, fair play New Holland. That good, very good job. And Yeah, that's about right. Because that is the only way you're going to be able to change the engine oil without getting the engine oil literally everywhere. But yeah, credit where it's due. That is good.
It has got some quite nice features, hasn't it?
It has, to be fair. It is. It's not. I think it very much comes down to what you actually want out of a machine. If you don't really care about the comfort features and all you want to do is interesting.
So, what are your last thoughts with the New Holland telehandler?
Well, I've given it my little review, and I've honestly tried to find the plus points on it, and I'm not going to lie, it isn't that easy.
But in the same breath, you can't point at stuff and say it's god awful. There's something almost painfully average about this machine, wouldn't you say?
Yes, I think that's probably a pretty fair description. It is painfully average, but you've got to think of that in the context of a very competitive market for telehandlers. You've got JCB, Manitou, you could buy a Vitamin now, you've got a Kramer, you've got a Class. Anybody, right, left and centre, wants to sell you a telehandler. So, what is the place of a machine that is quite so dated, I want to say, in terms of, okay, your modern machines are all going to come with loads of stuff that 4 or 5 days out of a 7-day week you're not going to use. But when you do want to use it, they make your life so much easier. But whereas this, with it's so basic that I just can't really see who they've aimed it at.
You spoke previously about the Merlot pricing compared to JCB.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind, you didn't know what the pricing was for a Merlot at this time.
No.
You don't know what the pricing is on this machine.
No, I don't.
Where do you think it sits price-wise, or should sit price-wise?
For price-wise, this has got to be way down the market. This would have to be incredibly cheap to make this worth going. Okay, I'll put up with all the niggly things. I'll put up with it. I'll put up with the gearbox, I'll put up with that. It would have to be fantastically cheap for you to go, no, I don't want a hydrostat. Because there'll be people out there who'll go, oh, it's a gearbox, that'll push better than a hydrostat. Well, I'll tell you now, I've sat in it, it bloody doesn't. It doesn't have the torque of a hydrostat, particularly about Merlot. I say, driving a JCB this morning, it doesn't have the torque of that either. And as some people quite like to say, with this one, it wouldn't pull the cock off a jelly baby. There are nice things about it. There are things that you would live with if you bought it, but I'm just not entirely sure why you would, because I can't get over the gearbox why you would have this over a hydrostatic transmission. There doesn't seem to be any discernible benefit of it. Say if you want me to score this out of 100, I'll be generous and give it 60. Mr. Eves is going 50.
Mr. Eves is going 50. 50 with a painful average sticker. My problem is I would just expect more from New Holland. Not to say that this is a bad machine, but all of the New Holland offerings in the tractors have a place. They have their own unique way of doing it. The T6, absolutely fantastic now that our farm have gone into having a T6. But you couldn't imagine having a T7 on that sprayer anymore because the T7's a ton heavier. You know, the T6 is a powerhouse. The T7 for draft, absolutely brilliant tractor because they're still not. They've got the horsepower, but they're not the heaviest tractor on the market. So that makes it incredibly attractive. Whereas this telehandler, I really want to like it because of New Holland. I want to believe that New Holland have done something unique with this. But it's painfully average.
And it is, and I'll agree with you. That New Holland tractors up to T7, you know what you're getting, and they're good machines. Everything breaks down, but hand on heart, I say I've driven New Holland on and off for 10 years, and they are good. You can't really say that they're not. You may not personally like them, but they're not bad machines. Again, with New Holland combines, consistently good performers, but this is just, this is almost like New Holland going, oh crap, we'd better offer a teleporter. We've got to offer the whole range. You can buy New Holland ploughs, cultivators. We're better.
Balers.
Yeah, balers, anything you like. New Holland badge on it. We're better offer a teleporter. And what they've come up with would have been absolutely fine 10 years ago. But in today's market, it's just not. I can't. There are redeeming features on it. The visibility is good.
The cab's very comfortable, I thought. I like the armrest is a good idea.
The armrest is nice, the cab's comfy, the engine's nice and easy to service. But yeah, as a package, it is a pretty bang average machine, really. Which it's a shame, but so hopefully at some point they'll update it and we'll get some nicer options. But again, also, I'm perfectly happy to talk to anybody from New Holland who wants to come and show me why this isn't a bang average machine and why this is a good machine, because I do like Richard Perry, and I very much hope that he could sell me on it, but I'm not convinced.
Yeah, Richard, if you are watching, I have really enjoyed this as a demo.
Yeah.
But I can't say it's anything amazing. Yeah. And that is completely the fault of the product and not yourself, because you've sold us every bloody New Holland on this yard. No thumb up this time.
No.